Swadika, very good evening and welcome to Thai PBS World Tonight.
And a good evening as well. We hope you have had a really good and relaxing weekend and also a productive Monday. So kickstarting the program tonight has actually been a week now. Thailand reopened its borders to international travelers from 63 countries and territories. However, it has been reported that 20 of them, of such travelers, were found to be infected with COVID-19 during this first week of the so-called reopening. So the CCSA revealed that 20 travelers were found to be infected with COVID between November 1st and 7th. Out of the total of more than 22,000 foreign visitors who have entered Thailand by air since November 1st, which accounts to just 0.09% of all the arrivals. And as for the top 10 countries, mostly of the travelers came from the US, Germany, the UK, Japan, South Korea, Russia, Switzerland, Sweden, France, and the UAE, United Arab Emirates, respectively. According to the MFA this morning, over 92,000 foreign visitors applied for the Thailand Pass to enter the country between November 1st and yesterday, which is Sunday. And of these people, more than 50,000 applications have been approved. And according to government spokesman Thanakorn Wangbunkongchana, 30,000 foreign visitors are expected to enter Thailand in this month and next month, November and December. And this is about 10% of about 3 million who visited Thailand monthly back in 2019. And as for the whole of this year, 2021, he said that an estimated 700,000 tourists will have arrived in Thailand, including more than 65,000 who visited Thailand under the Phuket Sandbox scheme since July 1st. And between July and next February, bookings at hotels connected with the alternative quarantine program total almost 1 million nights, so about 950,000. The government spokesman also warned foreign visitors about a fake website, which is called www.thailandpass.org, which claims to allow visitors to register for the Thailand Pass, which is now a new and current system for vaccinated visitors to Thailand and replacing Certificate of Entry or COE system. So let you be warned that the thailandpass.org is not the correct website. The correct one is tp.consular.go.th. This is the registrations for Thailand Pass that has been open since last week. So as you can see, well, things are actually moving forward. There have been complaints, maybe any of you watching this also experienced certain glitches on the website before to register for the Thailand Pass, but most of such glitches have now been fixed. So we do hope that this is going more smoothly as well. And of course, it's just only the beginning of the new system. And with only less than 1% of the arrivals having COVID-19, I think, well, things are not that bad at all. People are starting to coming. Of course, it's not the huge influx of tourists, but at least it's a start.
Right. It's still nice to hear that there are many foreign visitors who are really interested in coming into Thailand, and with over 92,000 applications for Thailand Pass. So we can expect a lot more to come in the coming weeks since the country reopened last week. And we're still on the topic related to COVID-19. We can see that the infections are sort of stabilized at fewer than 10,000 cases a day, with a daily average of around 7,000 to 8,000, which is, of course, much better than a couple of months ago. But with the daily figures, it's still very worrying, especially with the ongoing emergence of new clusters. So the CCSA has expressed concern over the new infections among people attending the Katin ceremonies to present the saffron robes to monks in temples, and they have also advised those people to exercise extreme caution to protect themselves from the coronavirus. The CCSA's assistant spokesperson, Dr. Apisamai Siransan, said today that they had noted that new infections related to people who attended a recent Gatin ceremony in the northeastern province of Khon Kaen have surfaced in Yasothon, Doi It,ศรีสะเกษ ประจวบคีรีขันธ์ สิงห์บุรี กาญจนบุรี and Satoon provinces. And the new infections were also linked to funerals, and they have been detected in a couple of provinces such as Kanchanaburi, Patolung, and Songkhla as well. Dr. Pisamai said that the rates of new infections, deaths, and severe cases are slowing, but she has also warned that there are new clusters going on, as just like we just mentioned earlier with the Gatin ceremony and funerals as well. And currently, Thailand's 10 provinces with the highest number of infections today are the following, which are Bangkok, Songkhla, Chiang Mai, Pattani, Nakhon Si Thammarat, Narathiwat, Yala, Samut Prakan, Chonburi, and Surat Thani. So we cannot be complacent about this issue because we can see that there are new clusters here and there. And although you're fully vaccinated with either 2 doses or 3 doses of vaccine, you still need to put your guards up.
Exactly. Wearing masks keeps social distance, for example, and try to, avoid crowded places. And moving on to another big story, actually, of the week that has been quite a talk of the town. For English-speaking communities, maybe that is something you might not have heard of, but for a lot of Thais here, this is quite big. So if you've been on Twitter lately and maybe you have seen something in English, or also if you can read Thai, you might be aware that there is this social drama rooting from Clubhouse, of course, an app when you just hold like online seminars as well. So a group of teens created an online discussion, and they were actually insulting people from Isaan, or the northeast of the country, and that actually sparked a lot of debates and also outrage, especially people coming from that region themselves, and not just that, but people overall seeing that this is quite a discrimination and even might be categorized as hate speech. So Clubhouse Toxic hashtag, it is in the Clubhouse, I believe it is in Thai.
Yeah, it's in Thai.
Right. It remained top trending hashtag on Thai Twitter over the weekend because, as I said, a group of users began an online discussion discriminating against the Isaan people, referring to those born in the northeastern region of Thailand. The discussion caused massive uproar on Twitter, of course, not surprisingly, because they were listing stereotypical characteristics of the native Isaan people, such as teenage pregnancies, people having dark skin, and generally criticizing their style. So at one point, Blackpink member Lalisa Manoban, who was born in Buriram, of course, we know her as Lisa, she was also mentioned, and one of the user also said that if Isaan is that great, Lisa would have come home already, but she was there in South Korea, so it seems like maybe it's much better than living in Isaan. And although the mother of the 17-year-old, who was one of the main critics in the Clubhouse discussion, has apologized to the public already, the uproar still has not died down. It has also prompted many users born in the Northeast, including many public figures there, to express their pride in their hometowns. So Thai media, the Isaan Record, also tweeted that the Clubhouse group insulting the Isaan people, turning into this, hashtag drama, reflects people's lack of understanding of differences, and that people still look down on others. Another Twitter user said that he or she was proud of the hometown. No matter where you live, you're still human. You eat rice, you walk on the road, like just like everyone else. And one day is 24 hours for you, just like everyone else. Another one said he or she was lived in Bangkok, a Bangkokian who loves Isaan culture. And no matter where you're from, Isaan or Bangkok, it's just, we're all the same and equal. An independent academic posted on his Facebook saying that the discrimination against Isaan people are nothing new, and it is often used for political benefits. The most common method is to incite hatred between two different groups of people, such as people in the north versus the south, or Isaan people versus people in Bangkok, by creating a page or an identity to attack or defame a person or a group, to urge the media and academics to analyze the situation and indicating that there's discrimination in society resulting from the government's action. So such Clubhouse discussions aiming to insult and criticize Isaan people still persists, with many discussion topics such as how maybe some Isaan people only job is just to harvest rice for people in Bangkok, or that they are zombies. Actually, this one is quite funny in real life, and that many Isaan natives and others are questioning what these users really want from them.
Well, generally speaking, Clubhouse can be a very toxic platform if you go into the wrong room, because there are so many rooms with different types of discussions. And if you really go into a discussion where they keep insulting about other people, other groups, it can really drain your energy. And remember a couple of months ago when people were talking about Clubhouse, if you really use it, you can feel that your energy has been drained. I decided not to use Clubhouse anymore because of this, because when you join discussions and you were not able to participate, and the fact that you're put into a position where you had to listen to all these negative comments all the time, that is not productive at all. And with the incident here with the Clubhouse toxic incident, it just shows that people are using the platform in the wrong way, using the platform in a sense where they express their hatred towards a different group. Although it does exist with other platforms like Facebook or Twitter, all these things, but Clubhouse is a lot more uncontrollable, because with the conversation, it is hard to detect what was actually going on, and you can't even record the whole thing. So people felt like they have the freedom to say whatever they want because no one is going to catch them.
Well, actually, it's like in real life. I mean, you meet healthy people and toxic people to have discussions, and but maybe things have been amplified by certain apps. For example, when it's all out there, you can see that on the internet, then it's all there and it's all maybe exaggerated and blown out of proportion as well. But of course, there's no excuse, because free speech is totally different from hate speech. So we have to be really careful and maintain such a healthy community.
Exactly. So the bottom line is that only because you have a social media account doesn't necessarily mean you have the right to spread hate or to insult another person. And to be honest, Clubhouse can be used in a more positive way, such as holding like online seminars or discussion groups where they can discuss something a lot more healthy than what we just reported right now. And now let's move on to something a lot lighter. Bangkok is preparing for the Loy Krathong festival, which is celebrated across the country. And specifically for the capital, there are also celebrating as well with strict COVID-19 measures in place. And Loy Krathong festival falls on November 19th. And the Bangkok governor, Aswin Kwanmueang, announced that this year's Loy Krathong festival will be held at two prime locations, namely Ong Ang Canal in Sampantawong and Pratnakhon districts and under the Rama 8 Bridge in Bangkok district. At the same time, 30 public parks across the capital will also be open for the Loy Krathong Festival as well, but they will be operating under strict measures to prevent the possible spread of COVID-19. At the same time, the governor also urged the public who will be joining the Loy Krathong festivals to use the krathong or Thai floating baskets that are made from natural materials to reduce the amount of waste and to care for the environment. And as for the preparation of the festival, which will be held across all the public parks as well as the two prime locations as mentioned, the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration, or the BMA, will also deploy firefighting boats, lifeboats, and rescue personnel along the Chao Phraya River from the Rama 7 Bridge to the Rama 9 Bridge, covering about 20 kilometers to ensure safety of the people. Apart from this, the Disaster Prevention and Mitigation Office will also deploy fire trucks, fire extinguishers, and aerial lighting vehicles and rescue personnel and equipment to all the locations. And the City Law Office will also have 150 personnel on duty around Ong An Canal for 3 days, another 150 around the Rama 8 Bridge, and up to 1,500 personnel in all 30 public parks, at boat piers, and all bridges across the Chao Phraya River. Although we can enjoy the Loy Krathong Festival under COVID-19 measures. However, there are still some restrictions, notably the bottle rockets, fireworks, sky lanterns, or similar items are banned during the festival, and whoever violates this will be subject to 3 years in prison and or a fine up to 60,000 baht. At the same time, the sale and the use of all types of firecrackers are also banned for this festival, with violators subject to 3 months in prison and or a fine up to 6,000 baht on conviction.
Well, the traditional, festivity is kind of back. So, to be honest, I'm not really that big of a fan of this festival, especially when I was young, when I could see that the practice can pollute the water. But now with more healthier practices, actually those krathongs being collected, scraped out of the water, and sometimes you can only just use the pond, not really creating that much damage on the environment, then that seems to be quite magical. And with all the lanterns, like in the north as well.
It is definitely a very exciting festival that many people, including foreign tourists, many people have been waiting for this, because when you look at the Thai floating baskets or krathongs along the rivers and canals, and when they light up there, we can see like very beautiful scenes as well. And for every single year, especially in recent years, we've been seeing a lot of creative looking krathongs as well, where they create into different shapes that are not the traditional ones. So this is something that many people are really excited about.
And well, since things are starting to get a little bit back to normal, and winter is coming, for real. Okay, we don't have snows and all that, but at least we have some cool breezes, and especially in the north of Thailand. So if you want to experience this, and also along with the sea of winter mist, you might already book a holiday there, but if you haven't, this also can be on your list to go to Doi Inthanon National Park in Chiang Mai. So of course, this is a very popular spot of all time, and the good news is that it will reopen for tourists from this Wednesday onwards. So Chiang Mai's Doi Inthanon National Park, which is Thailand's highest peak, will reopen on Wednesday for the first time in many, many months. But to ensure safety, of course, from COVID, the chief of the national park said the number of visitors will initially be limited to 2,000 a day and to 50 at each viewpoint. All visitors must be inoculated with at least one dose of vaccine and show proof of having passed their RT-PCR or antigen test in the 72 hours prior to that visit. And to make sure the tourists don't miss their opportunity to travel to the peak by car, the organization also recommended that they make advanced bookings via the QQ app. So that is spelled as QUE and Q, as 70% of the daily quota of visits is reserved for people who have made these advanced bookings. And also the number of daily visitors may be increased in the future based on the demand, which is expected to rise steadily, especially in the weeks leading up to the new year, with local tourists pouring into Chiang Mai to explore this, misty mountain. And while the summit is the highlight for most visitors to Doi Inthanon, the national park is also open to jungle routes for you to maybe trek and explore the nature in Gilmepan and Angka. And there might be a lot of various species of flora and fauna as well. And according to the meteorological department, the temperature at Doi Inthanon was 10 degrees Celsius this morning. That seems like really good news indeed. I mean, you get the cool breeze and fresh air, hopefully
It
though,
is very,
it might
very,
be a season for PM 2.5, but at least we hope that it hasn't reached, and then you can enjoy this fresh and cold air.
very exciting to hear, especially that winter is definitely coming. But speaking of the north, there are many famous spots to watch over the mist of the winter, whether it's in Mae Hong Son or in Nan. But Doi Inthanon is definitely one of the famous spots to explore the cool breeze and all these things.
Right. And with that, we wrap up this edition of Thai PBS World tonight. Do catch us like this every weekday at 7 p.m. for all the top stories, explainers, and you can't miss our commentaries.
And don't forget to follow us on social media as well as our website, thaipbsworld.com, for all the latest updates as well as analyses. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ